Good evening to you. It's morning for me. Thank you so much for attending our virtual back to school night. Before we even get into it, if you need anything regarding your students specifically, any questions, any concerns, any comments, we want to celebrate them together, whatever it might be, please send me an email. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. My turnaround's usually pretty good, and we can, do what we can to help out. And so with that being said, my name is Jake Rupp. I've been teaching for 15 years. Of those 15, I've taught English 10 for like 14 of them. All right, English 10 is my bread and butter. 10th graders are the best age. They're the most interesting. I've always been a fan of the 10th grade student, and since I've been at Erie, I've built a 10th grade curriculum around what I know to be successful, and frankly, what I know to be an important life skill. And so, what we focus on in this course is a student's ability to not only form ideas, but more focus is placed on how they provide evidence for those ideas, supporting what it is that you are trying to put out into the world. Because without evidence, you can't really make any convincing points. And so with that, our course is, again, focused primarily on the use of evidence. And for that, we need objects of study. Our first semester, we spend the first quarter looking at short stories, and then we move into choice novels. We use these pieces of fiction that we are reading as ways to form our own ideas, not only about what authors are trying to do, but what your students can take out of these texts and apply to the world at large. With that comes quite a bit of writing instruction. I don't expect that your students are flawless writers when they get to me. If they were, I wouldn't be on the payroll. Instead, my job is to help improve and hone those skills in a way that will last them not only through the rest of their academic careers, but by providing a thought process that allows them to just be more critical thinkers. In terms of the way that the course is structured, every day your student is given a day book. That's kind of the name we came up with. Inside of that day book has all of the things that we are doing that day. It's not just for the purpose of an agenda, but it's a place where your student can store their work. And those are graded in periods of 4 to 5 weeks. That work then lends itself to other things that we do. So they take notes on the novel that they have chosen to read. That's in Act 1. Great. They then take those notes and turn them into a larger piece of writing every couple of weeks. They then take that larger piece of writing, and that's going to be something that they use for a synthesis paper later in the quarter. So these assignments aren't things just to do and then they die, but instead, it's work that lends itself to further conclusions as we use them more and more. And the things in those daybooks all really follow that pattern of being steps in a process. So in terms of those daybooks, again, because they're graded every couple of weeks, you'll see that there's one category in the grade book that just continues to update. The rest of the categories are fairly traditional. Categories for midterm, final, the bigger products, projects, and assessments, those are all very standard. That daybook one, I think, is the only one that's really unique to English 10. So my focus is on rapport with your students, and this is where I really want to kind of close out. The most important thing is that your students know that I'm here to help. That my job is not to give grades. Grading isn't teaching, and it never has been. It's more about providing feedback, having the conversations with them to the best of my ability. We have breakout rooms now in WebEx. We can have those talks, depending on what school looks like. Who knows? But right now, I am available to your students all day on Friday. When students leave class, when I dismiss students from class, they're welcome to stay in the WebEx and we can have conversations in, there, or I can move them to breakout rooms. I want to help. That's the point I'm stumbling through here, is I do want to help. But English 10 is an excellent, excellent course. I feel very strongly about it. It has my name all over it. So if you have any questions, you have any concerns, please let me know. But otherwise, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We appreciate it.